it is my holy duty to be thorough. So here we have some Shimano mechanical disc brakes, and I want to show some details that are lacking on the internet sense. So this is the way to route the cable. Let me try to get that in the shot. So the cable goes all the way around, and then there is a notch here on the outer edge, so you slide it through there and then pinch it. So you thread it through there once this is loosened, and then you tighten it. So that's first thing. I will try to demonstrate it with the camera recording, but that's the basic principle. So not any other way, and it rests on this, and it does not get off this and doesn't get stuck. So that's how it works. And for adjustments, I will try to get a camera on a stand to also show that on the rear wheel, but the principle is that you first make these two bolts be loose, and then you go to the opposite side and here you will see this for getting the pad inside by screwing it in, or outside by screwing it out. So for that one I like to make it be pretty screwed outside, so that I have some room as the pads wear to make an eighth of a turn, clicks, turns, and that will bring the pad back in as it wears, so that I don't have to realign the caliper. So first I get it all the way out, not all the way out, but pretty much out for at least one full turn, so that the pads look roughly like this. So I could say that this the inner bicycle part of this metal of the caliper is maybe a little bit closer to the disc, to the rotor, than the outer side, because this is a fixed side and I can only by screwing this in adjust it, while the outer side can be adjusted by adjusting the cable. So you can easily adjust the cable's pinch point here by tightening it a bit more at the very start. Then here you have this lock nut and this screw to further unscrew it and then lock the lock nut to add some tension here and push the outer pad further to the disc as they were. And also usually you have one barrel adjuster at the handlebars or the brake lever. So you unscrew this and then you tighten the lock nut, and to readjust it you loosen the lock nut and then you readjust. So here I will get the lock nut all the way out, because I want to get this all the way to the lever to be as loose as possible for the start and leave me a lot of room for further adjusting as the pads wear. So these are brand new pads, and adjusted it just so there is no scratching, but that it bites pretty quickly. So those are the basic points that should be enough to cover any sort of dilemmas you might have, but I will try to get this camera on the stand and show mounting of the rear caliper as best as I can. Okay, so this is the first step. I will screw these two bolts in just enough to let this move freely left and right, but without any extra slack past that point. So I want to screw this out as much as it's needed to keep the caliper. Okay, I don't want it too far to the outside, so here you can see, hopefully, hope that you can see here now that it's not hitting this metal. So I want it further near the middle, but not too much, so that I have as much room for adjustment as possible. So Okay, phone. So, where was I? The idea is to have this not be dangerously close. But to leave me enough room to adjust for pad wear. So I think this is about right. And now I need to attach the cable and then fine tune it. So let's try to catch that on camera. Okay, so the cable needs to go through this, then over this edge, and then underneath this little thing. So let me try to get that. So I can use this with a hex wrench or with a 10 millimeter. So cable must pass through here. I hope you can see. So let's give it a try. This is screwed in all the way. There's a lock nut here, and that's how I want to leave it right now. Okay, and now I need to get it through here. Do you see that? So it goes around and then through here. That's all there is to it. Now I will get it a bit tighter right from the start. That's how I like to do mechanical disc brakes. So it has a small groove here for the cable on this curve and sits right there. To adjust it, I will use the brake. I need to keep the brake engaged so that the caliper is centered, and then I need to alternately tighten one then the other, because if I put too much torque on one side it will turn the whole caliper, and this way I'm gradually increasing the friction and making sure this stays in place while bringing it gradually to full tension. I will also place the cable end right away to not have it frayed. They can be replaced later down the road. I will also be placing these security thingies on the bolts here to make sure that they don't come completely loose. So one of them goes here and the other I will put it on the other, so it's just grabs onto these small grooves on the bolt to keep it from unscrewing, and I want to put one on the thing that holds the holder of the caliper and the other on the caliper itself, and hopefully we will hear rattle and get it fixed before it goes off. But this is just some extra precaution, and I don't put two on the same. I use them alternately to have this at least hanging on by one securely for as long as possible. So without too much talking now, let's get back to this. I need to further tighten this. Okay, that looks good. Now this should be very close to scratching. So taking this, unscrewing it an eighth of a turn just to make sure that it's not scratching. Okay, so this is looking good now. This is looking pretty good, how it should be. Okay, now let's play with the lock nut. We have a lock nut here and I will loosen it So it's loose, and then I can, so I'll unscrew this just a bit, and then I can just tighten it here. So this leaves me a lot more room for further tightening, both here and at the lever at the opposite end. And it leaves some room to loosen it if it starts rubbing for whatever reason for the rider to limp home. So we'll do the same here at the lever. So unscrewing this. And then tightening the lock nut here. So that's the basic principle. Okay. Now I need to bed in the brakes and give it a test ride. And I'll maybe make a separate video about how to bed in these brakes. That's for a separate video. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Hope it helps.